she take an offer like that? Oh my god, R&R's launch probably knows the Kamehameha right now! What's up everybody, StevDeS here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Days. 2020 is a new year full of very new things that may or may not be good. Please be good, please be good. So let's look at another timeline that might have actually added a Z fighter to the roster. Picture this, a fighter who honestly didn't really see fighting as something all that fun. She would prefer to use her gun and do other things to intimidate her foes and make her foes just retreat. The boys she was with, however, encouraged fighting to be an actual thing. Something that she could really benefit from, something she could have fun doing. And with a trainer like Master Roshi, the Turtle Hermit, this was a rare opportunity indeed. So she might as well see what it's all about. Naturally, she does agree. And decides, you know what? This isn't for me. After 5 minutes. Yeah, she gave up relatively early, meaning the boys reaped the full benefits of training with the Great Turtle Hermit. When I saw this, I couldn't help but think, what if Launch trained with Roshi? As a former martial artist myself, a blue one belt in Taekwondo, I really wish I went back and finished. I frowned at the sheer lack of discipline in the character of Launch, but that's how Launch is, I'm afraid. I can totally get it. She's more of a girly girl. She thinks fighting is boring. It's not really her cup of tea. But there has to be some benefits here, especially if the guys can resist gunfire. Now, Blonde Launch is one of those characters that's extremely moody and doesn't really, care about anyone. So, why would she take the training? Well, one sneeze ends up starting the training day. As Roshi is explaining what a punch and kick might be, and Blonde Launch begins to doze, she feels a little tickle on her nose, and she sneezes, letting out the Blonde Launch. And of course the boys, take a step back, because she's kind of angry. And she shows it by pulling her gun out. You got 5 seconds to explain what I'm doing next to these dumb kids! We're just doing some training so that we can be better at martial arts! Yeah, that's right. You can join us too. It'll be fun. She then thinks about how these guys resist bullets. Tries it out with a couple of shots against poor Goku, and sure enough, he does resist bullets. If she could learn how to resist bullets, why would she be afraid of any cop guns? Hell, maybe she'd be strong enough to break any cuffs. She would be able to pull so many heists. So she goes along with this idea. Of course, then Roshi thinks about the bag of money and how she kind of got it by heisting a train. Yeah, he has to make a point very clear here. Give Roshi some credit. He knows when to do right and when to do wrong. He is very much a pervert, but he is very much a good master, and would actually close the gap between him and Launch, taking off the turtle shell to do so, and disarm the woman before training officially begins. This is just even more incentive for Launch. I mean, if she was that fast, she would get away from the cops. However, Roshi opens her eyes to something. Listen carefully, Launch. When you undertake the Turtle School's training, none of these techniques are meant to be used for selfish means. These techniques and what you learn today are meant to defend the ones that you care about and make yourself stronger by constantly challenging yourself to reach new heights. That is the Turtle School way. And this is the only time we get to see Launch smile. Oh, it's not a smile of, I can get behind this. It's a smile of, she's got him by the balls. The Dragon Balls. If you don't teach me, you won't get a chance with me when I sneeze. Whatever happens then. Roshi sighs because he's still the unfortunate pervert and accepts this. Maybe the training will do her some good in the middle of the training. Speaking of the training, she gets to see more speed feats when Goku and Krillin see how fast they go, and when she goes, well, it's a less than stellar performance. By Dragon Ball World's logic, I'd say 18.9 seconds. It's kind of fast. I mean, she has to be running from cops, but doing her best doesn't hold a candle to what the boys are capable of. So here Roshi has a dilemma. He has two separate groups of students that he has to teach now. And so the rock test happens, in which Roshi holds Launch back from this. Goku and Krillin are the ones doing the rock test just like in canon. Roshi wants to train with Launch one-on-one because she's not as experienced of a fighter. So she's gonna get to fight Roshi hand to hand and learn a little bit more about being in close quarter combat. In the middle of this training, Blonde Launch would sneeze and turn into Blue Launch, and then they decide, let's go inside and cook dinner. The pufferfish thing doesn't happen here, because Roshi is paying more attention to Launch now. If she sneezes, Roshi has to, be authoritative, be a teacher. Do something to make sure that this woman doesn't pull her gun out and just destroy stuff. And so training resumes the next day, early in the morning, waking up and delivering milk. Launch argues about a paycheck here. She ain't doing this work without getting pay. And that's when Roshi brings her aside, not wanting to reveal something to the kids quite yet, and tells her that she will get her money in the form of 500,000 zenny. 500,000 zenny? What is this old man talking about? The World Martial Arts Tournament. If she applies herself and wins that tournament, then she will get 500,000 zenny as a cash prize. This is more than enough for Blonde Launch to be very much attracted to the idea of training and giving her all as far as whatever the man's teaching him. And so Roshi has to explain as well, this is very good for physical training. It not only teaches you endurance, but it also bulks you up a bit. As far as the training's concerned, Blonde Launch is about on par with Krillin about how tired she is. She's not a child, so she would have a little bit more stamina as far as that's concerned, but she also is still kind of weak. She's used to running and carrying heavy loads of cash, so she's at least on par with Krillin here. Throughout the day, they end up doing their thing, and Blonde Launch discovers that, she sneezes. But Roshi discovers that Blue Launch could be helpful with one of the chores. Blue Launch enjoys gardening. Remember the farming task? Yeah, at first when the boys were using tools and Roshi said don't use tools, Blue Launch kind of complains about this. Like, I want to use tools, that's how you're supposed to garden. And I don't want to get my nails scuffed up. Well, Roshi allows her to have gloves, but still to get on her hands and knees and do it. Blue Launch does complain about this, but hearing what her other half promised, she doesn't want to make her other half a liar. She's really the nice one in this. Even understanding her other half, even when her other half doesn't even know she exists. When doing the lesson with the boys, they end up getting homework, a little bit of alone work so that they can do it. And Roshi approaches Launch here, telling her she really needs to control her sneezes. If her blonde self's the one that wants to learn the martial arts and she doesn't, she could be put in a dangerous situation in which she has no way out. So he's going to focus her training on controlling how to sneeze. That way, Blonde Launch can be there to defend Blue Launch if she was ever in a bad situation. We do get a funny scene with the construction work in which Blonde Launch is packing heat for all the perverts staring at a woman doing construction work. Yeah, that's pretty funny. But we eventually get to the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, in which Launch is put in A block. Quickly, she discovers that she can completely demolish the competition. She's feeling great about herself. In the middle of celebrating, Blonde Launch looks at the roster, and before she can read it, she feels a nose tickle. That's not good. Unfortunately, she sneezes, and Blue Launch has no idea what she's doing here. She's very scared at this concept and wondering what the Blonde Launch was doing. But oh, she sees Bhama, and she met Bhama earlier because she was actually at the World Tournament. So maybe Bhama can help her out and give her some perfume because she smells like sweat and other people's tears. Other people's tears must not smell good. She approaches Bhama, and sure enough, Bhama has her own perfume. But then Bhama questions, you do know why you're here, right? And of course, Blue Launch has absolutely no clue. What, is this a dance recital or something? Bhama spills the beans, and Blue Launch is absolutely horrified because she looks over at the roster and sees this extremely, extremely smelly man and cannot even think about wanting to fight him. Bhama tells Blue Launch to calm down. Just calm down. The Blonde Launch must have an idea for this. Blue Launch is a little bit frantic here, but she's calming down. She agrees that her other half must have a plan here, otherwise she wouldn't have done it. That's when Bhama tells Oolong to turn into a feather, and I'll tickle her nose real quick. Sure enough, she sneezes and explains to the Blonde Launch that, well, yeah, you kind of came over here after you sneezed, and your match is about to start. She sees who she's fighting up against, Bacterian, and she's not very happy about this. But she does have a plan. Blonde Launch takes the bandana off of her head and wraps it around her nose and mouth. That way, it blocks some of the smell. When she gets into the ring with Bacterian, it's not only the bandana she smells. Because Blue Launch wanted to have perfume, some of that perfume got onto the bandana, effectively blocking out Bacterian's smell. And so the match begins. Bacterian, sure, he's not much of a fighter, using very smelly techniques in order to strategically get his foe to leave the ring, but he is still a hulking mass of man. So Launch does hold her own against the fighter until the time limit's up. The judges crowd around a bit, talking it over, thinking about what's going on, and Blonde Launch, to save face, keeps the bandana on her nose and mouth, wondering why the hell she smelled perfume this entire time. Eventually, the judges make a decision. Launch progresses to the World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku and Krillin cheer for Launch, because if they don't, she might beat them up. But now they might get a fair chance to beat her up. And so, Launch is in the World Tournament, taking the place of Bacterian, in which the fight will be decided by you. The first fight, because I would keep the roster all the same as far as the brackets, would be Launch versus Krillin. So, I see several different scenarios in which Launch wins, but I also see several different scenarios in which Krillin wins. So you tell me, by voting in that poll above, who wins the first fight of the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament? Krillin or Launch? So what do you all think? Do you think Launch will be a great addition to the fighters? What about Blue Launch? Will she end up seeing Blonde Launch for who she is? Will Blonde Launch recognize that she has an alter ego? Will she learn the advantages and be able to control her own sneezes, allowing her to take advantage of the swap whenever she needs to? Leave a comment below! For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, such as if, the dragon couldn't revive people, that's kind of a big hindrance. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Launch is in now.